Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning, learners. Good morning. Yes, it is yet another week. It is that assessment week we've been talking about. I hope everyone had a very wonderful weekend and you've enjoyed yourself and you've been staying safe, you've been good and everything. It is good to see you again. Good morning, everyone. It's 8 a.m. and it is time for grade 8 English home language. So you are all welcome. So in today's lesson, we will be going over the instruction text. It is one of the transactional texts you will be required to write in your test earlier this week. So please pay attention. And if you need clarity, if you do not understand anything about it, please do not hesitate to ask your questions. And remember, as always, let's quickly take the register. Let us see who is with us today. You can write hi in the chat. Okay, there is a couple of highs in the chat. Thank you so much. It is good to see you again. Yes, so let us get on with the lesson for today. Okay, so in today's lesson, we will be revising the general structures of transactional text, and then we will focus on how to write an instruction text, okay? Yes, remember why I said so, that you will be required to write an instruction text in your assessment later this week, so we have to go through it. So yes, we have to revise it so that you will be assessed on something that which you know. You know how unfair it is that you will be assessed on something you do not know. So yeah, so this is a way of preparing you for the assessment. All right. So practice makes perfect, as you know, but we do not know who it is who has said that. But yes. Anyway, let's move on. So yes, writing is an important communication skill. So you realize that even with today's lesson, you realize that what we are going to write, it is a way of communicating. And in this case, our communication will be through writing. All right, let's continue. Okay, so remember in the previous lesson, we went through the process writing method. So I had to bring it up again to bring up the steps. Remember, number 1 is planning, 2 is drafting, 3 is revision, 4 is editing, 5 is proofreading, and 6 is presenting. Okay, so we are not going to go through these steps today, but I just had to remind you that you should have them at the back of your mind as we go through today's lesson. And you will realize that we will be applying the steps of our process writing method. Okay, so how to write an instruction text. Okay, so before that, who can tell us what an instruction text is? So what is an instruction text, or what do we do with an instruction text? You can write your response in the chat, or you can raise your hand. Okay, remember my question. The question is, what is an instruction text? What is it, and or what do it help us with? So that is the question. So what is the answer? You can text your answer in the chat, or you can raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to speak. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, okay. So we have Preston saying there are instructions. Okay. Then you have Nkanka say when you give instructions or directions to do something. That's a good answer, thank you. Okay, then you have Preston saying there are instructions and they can be used for making jelly or cake. Yes. Well, Preston is thinking about sweets, thinking about confectionery so early in the morning. Wow, okay. Then Nkanka saying that is when you give instructions or directions to do something or to go somewhere. Thank you so much. And then we have Mkon saying it explains to someone how to do something. Wow, you really are giving very, very interesting answers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yes, that is what an instruction text does. It does help us to do something. It enables us, it informs us about the steps we need to take when we do something or the steps we need to take when we go somewhere. All right, okay, so that is what an instruction text is about. Yes. Okay, so how to write an instruction text? Like directions, instructions, they need to be brief, concise, clear, and logically ordered. So this means that, okay, when you give instructions, you need to be brief, okay? You know that if you really say a lot when you give instructions, chances are that you would really confuse your audience. You really confuse whoever it is that you are giving instructions. I mean, you can just look at the you can just look at the instruction manual of anything you buy. Okay, you realize that those instructions manual, they're very short. Okay, they're very short. Chances are that they do not want to confuse you, but then they are trying to make it easier for you to get started to use their product. Okay, I mean, can you imagine if you just bought a laptop or a cell phone and the instruction manual of it is as big as your math textbook? You will be bored. Chances are that you will not even bother to read it. Okay, but then if the instruction if the instruction manual is short, then that will be good for you. You will be able to read it in less time, just a few minutes. You can be able to read all of it, and then you should be on a good path, on a good note, on a good way to really get started to set up your new product and to use it. Yes. So they have to be concise. Remember what this means, that they should be to the point, okay? You do not drag anything. You do not drag anything. You keep it simple and to the point. They should be clear and logically ordered. Why? Because almost every sentence has a possibility of being interpreted in a different way. Okay, so therefore, by being clear, you make sure that you are being interpreted in a way that which you want to be interpreted. Okay, so you avoid being vague. Yes, you avoid being vague. You make sure that what you say is clear, is vivid. Okay, and that anyone or most people, they can just read it once and understand what it is that which you are saying or what it is that you are trying to communicate. Okay, so to prepare a set of instructions, you need to ensure that you understand the situation. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Okay, before you prepare the set of instructions, make sure you understand what it is that which you are trying to do. Okay, let us say for example, you are giving me instructions on how to, okay, let us say you are giving someone instructions on how to what? Okay, let's say you are giving someone instructions on how to fix an electric kettle. Okay, first of all, you need to make sure that you understand how an electric kettle is, how it works, how it looks like, so that you can be able to prepare a set of instructions for it. Number two, ensure that you understand what you want the instructions to achieve. Okay. Think carefully about the grammar, the technical language, and the phrases that you might use. Okay, so yes. So in my example of fixing the electric kettle, then you should understand that, okay, with these instructions, what I want to achieve is I want the person who reads them to be able to fix an electric kettle. Okay, right. Then after that, you need to think about the grammar, you know. Are you going to write in present tense, in past tense, in future tense? You also need to think about the technical language that which you would be using. Okay, I mean, you know that the wires, they have their names. You know, there is a wire that which they call the earth. Okay, so then you should really be thinking about that. That, okay, you know, to someone else, earth may mean the ground. Earth may mean the brown color of the ground. Okay, therefore you may need to be able to make sure that the technical language you use will not be vague, but it will be understood by the person who will be reading the instructions. Then also make sure that the phrases that which you use will be understandable. All right. Then understanding and misinterpretation. How do you do that? You avoid misunderstanding by being clear. You avoid misunderstanding by being clear and vivid. Okay, make sure that whatever that which you write can only be interpreted in one way. Okay, make sure that it can only be interpreted one way, because chances are, if what you are saying has more than one way of being interpreted, then chances are that it may be misunderstood and it may be misinterpreted. Okay, so you should really be careful of that. Then state instructions of rules as simple as possible in full sentences. Okay, so here, this is not the time for you to try to sound smart, to try to sound whatever way you want to. Okay, here you should be as simple as possible. I remember there is this slogan who says that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So even in this context, please be simple. Keep it well, simple, and safe. All right, then the format, okay, the format of instruction text, it includes numbering or bullet points. So here it is you who choose. Okay, you can choose whether you want to use bullets or whether you want to use numbering. Okay, whichever way you prefer is fine. Whichever way you prefer is fine. Okay, then we use the comma in directions and instructions to separate the items in a list and or to separate the words, the phrases, or the clauses that explain. Okay, so here it brings to mind our punctuation marks, that we need to remember how important our punctuation marks are. Okay, our punctuation marks are important, so you need to remember the importance of punctuation marks, and please, okay, so please remember your punctuation marks. Okay, so here you should be remembering your punctuation marks and how important they are. Okay, so remember, if you have a question, please do not hesitate to ask it in the chat, or you can simply raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to speak so you can ask your question. Okay, so let us do an activity together. So in this activity, we are going to write an instruction text for telling your friend how to make ice cream. So here we are assuming that you can that you can make an ice cream. Therefore, you are going to let your friend know, you're going to help your friend. You're going to help your friend with how to make ice cream for themselves, right? So remember the process writing method. Okay, so with the process writing method, what was the step? The first step, the first step in our process writing method is planning. And we did say that in planning, you can use a list or you can use a mind map. Okay, yes. So here is our mind map. This is our planning. So this is our planning. Okay, so you realize that here we have decided to use a mind map, but we've also used a list. Okay, so I will go through both of them so that you can pick and choose whichever one you think would work better for you. Okay, so here is a list. For those who love to use list, there is a list. Okay, so remember we are making ice cream. So in our making of ice cream, there I wrote it as a title. Okay, then in our making of ice cream, surely we will need ingredients. Okay, therefore in our planning here we think about the ingredients that which we are going to need, or our friend is going to need when they make the ice cream. Okay, what are they going to need? Milk, vanilla essence, cream, eggs, and caster sugar. Okay, so that is what they are going to need to make the ice cream. Okay, yes. Is that all? No, we do not only need ingredients, but we'll also need some appliances or apparatus. Okay, yes, or tools. Yes. So we will need a freezer, we will need a teaspoon, a pot, an ice cream maker, a scoop, a serving bowl, as well as a whisk. Okay, so yes, this is what we need, these ingredients and these appliances. Okay, so if you are going to use a list, this is more or less how it will be looking like. Okay. Yes, so this is option one. If you want to use a list, then we have the other option, which is the mind map. So you realize that a mind map is okay. We usually recommend using a mind map because the thing with the mind map is that if you forgot something, you can easily squeeze it in. Okay, and remember, this is how a person's mind thinks. A person's mind, it thinks in network of ideas. Okay, remember when we did the process writing method, I did say that if you are thinking of one thing, chances are that you can think of many other things that which are related to it, because that is how we think as people. We think in networks. Okay, we think in networks, we think in interrelation of those networks. Okay, so if right now, for example, now, okay, now let us say that now you are thinking of breakfast. Okay, you are thinking of what to eat for breakfast. Chances are what will come to mind, you'll think of cereal, you'll think of tea, you will think of a squash, you'll think of milkshake. Okay, so okay, if for example, if you think of cereal, then you'll be thinking, okay, which cereal? Cornflakes, all grain flakes, with bigs, porridge. If it's porridge, you'll be thinking, will it be instant porridge, or are you going to cook it? If it's instant, you'll be thinking which flavor: chocolate flavor, strawberry flavor, vanilla flavor. So you realize that you think like that in networks. That is why we like to recommend the use of a mind map, because it will help to open your mind more to possibilities. Okay. Okay, so here in the middle we have the title is how to make ice cream. Okay, Remember, we said we needed ingredients, so I make a branch for ingredients. So I made a branch for ingredients. We made a branch for ingredients, and in that branch, we make other branches in ingredients for the ingredients we need: milk, vanilla essence, cream, eggs, and caster sugar. What else do we need? We will also need appliances or tools or apparatus such as a teaspoon, a pot, a freezer, an ice cream maker, a whisk, a scoop, and a serving bowl. Then we also think about another thing. Another thing is that we will be having our ingredients and the apparatus or the appliances. Then there will need to be some processes, right? What processes? So these processes are what we call steps. Okay. So in the steps that which will need to be taken, there will be some freezing, there will be some whisking, there will be some scooping, some rotating, some cooling, some pouring, as well as some heating. Okay, so you realize that with a mind map, it is more comprehensive. That not only did we include the ingredients and the appliances or the apparatus, but we've also included the steps that which we may need to take. Okay, so remember the process writing method. Okay, so this list and this mind map were my step one, where I was brainstorming the ideas, where I was brainstorming, thinking about the things that which we need. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So this was my step one, which was the planning. Then now it comes to the drafting. Okay, so remember, my draft will be based on my planning. Okay, remember here, I did talk about the steps that which will happen, as well as the ingredients and the appliances, right? So here is my draft. Okay, so in my draft, if you can read my draft, you realize that I didn't write things according to the order at which they will happen. Okay, you can look at my number one, for example, place in the freezer until set. So here you realize, I mean, what is it that which I place in the freezer until it's set? Because I mean, we haven't done anything. Okay, so you can read all these steps, you realize that they are not in order. So like this is my draft. Okay, so I was just writing what comes to mind when I was looking at my planning. Okay, so remember, since I said there will be some freezing, then I know that something will need to be frozen until it is set. Okay, but then before we set anything, before anything is placed in the freezer until it sets, there should be something which should be done. So okay, so this is my draft, and if you could read it, you realize that it is not in order. Okay, and you will also see that there are some grammatical errors. Yes, like if you go to point number 6, it says please mixture into cream maker and rotate. So this doesn't make sense, but this sounds like please. Okay, please mixture into the ice cream maker and rotate. That sounds to be better. Okay, so this is my draft, and after making my draft, I need to read the draft. All right, so then I need to read my draft to look for the spelling errors, the grammatical errors, and so on and so forth. Okay, now after that, what is next? After that, what's next is to proofread that which I wrote. Okay, then now put the following instructions for making ice cream in order. Can you try to put them in order? Let me give you just 2 minutes so that you can put them in order. So okay, to put them in order, what you can do, remember, it is nine statements. So what you can do is you just write the numbers. If you think that 9 comes first, you write 9. Okay, if you think 9 comes first, then followed by 7, then by 6 and 5, then in the chat you just write 9 space 7 space 6 space 5, just like that. Yes, to try to put them in order. All right, so I'll just give you just a minute to put them all in order. Okay, so now we are about to put them all in order. Okay, so if you put them all in order, we will be having something like this. So by putting them in order, that is that step of editing and proofreading. Okay, so that we can rewrite it. So yes, that is that step. So here they are after putting them in order. Okay, here they are after putting them in order. Can we have someone to raise a hand so that they can read them for us? Any volunteer to raise a hand so that you can read these instructions for us? This is how they look like when they are in order. So can someone raise a hand to read them for us so we can really hear that they really are in order? Okay, you have Nkanka's hand up.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. How to make ice cream. Step 1. Pour 300 milliliters of milk into a pot. Step 2. Heat the milk to just under boiling point. Step 3. Whisk 100 grams castor sugar with 4 egg yolks. Step 4. Combine 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence and 300 milliliters of cream. Add to the egg mixture. Step 5. Place mixture into ice cream maker and rotate for 20 minutes. Step 6. Add milk slowly and transfer the mixture back to the pot. Step 7. Heat gently until mixture thickens. Remove from heat and cool. Step 8. Place in the freezer until set. Step 9. Scoop some ice cream into a serving bowl. Garnish with a hint of granary and serve.
Okay, so Nkanka, can you say that that is correct, that all these steps, they are in order and that you can be able to follow them if you are about to make the ice cream?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So that was Nkanka reading for us, and he agrees that these steps, they are in order, that if we were to make this ice cream by following these steps in this order, then we will succeed to make the ice cream. Okay, so yes, that is really what it is all about. Okay, so if you can look at it, you realize that as for me, I prefer to use the numbering instead of bullets. Okay, so yes, and another thing, you realize that we wrote in sentences. So unlike other transactional text, with the instruction text, we use sentences. Okay, so and you will realize that all these sentences, they are simple. Okay, there is nothing complicated about these sentences. They are simple enough. You can also give them to your to your baby brother, to your baby sister who is in primary school to read or to make the ice cream, and I'm pretty sure that they will be able to follow these instructions. Okay, so yes, that is how it should be, that all these instructions, they should be simple and they should be clear. Okay, they should be simple and they should be clear instructions. Okay, yes, that's the first one. Pour 300 milliliters of milk into a pot. Okay, so you realize that we all know 300 milliliters. Okay, we all know that ml stands for milliliters. Okay, yes, so even the way we wrote it, it shows that, okay, this is 300 milliliters. So this shows that this is the amount of milk which has to be poured into a pot. Okay, so that is easy enough. Then you go to number 2. Heat the milk to just under boiling point. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that you are going to heat the milk just under boiling point. So you are going to heat the milk until just before it boils. Okay, we may not know the exact temperature of the boiling point of milk. I know some of you may want to Google it, but okay, it is fine even if you do not know it. So from number 2, we get the impression that as long as the milk is just before it boils, okay, you heat the milk just before it boils. Okay, right. Then number 3, you will whisk 100 grams of castor sugar with 4 egg yolks. So you realize that here we are being clear. Okay, we do not say 4 eggs. Okay, we are saying 4 egg yolks. So what does this mean? Remember that the egg yolk, it is that yellow part of the egg. Okay, therefore you only mix that yellow part of 4 eggs with castor sugar. Okay, so you whisk the 100 grams of castor sugar with 4 egg yolks. Okay, not the whole egg, only the yolks of the egg do you use. Okay, only the yellow part of the egg is the one you use. So you realize that if you didn't write 4 egg yolks, our friend here was going to use the whole egg, and the ice cream was not going to come out the way it should. Number 4, combine 1 teaspoon vanilla essence and 300 milliliter cream. Okay, and add to the egg mixture. Okay, so here we add 1 teaspoon vanilla essence. You combine 1 teaspoon vanilla essence with 300 milliliter of cream. Okay, after you combine them, you add to the egg mixture. So what you have combined in step number 4, you are going to add with what you did in step number 3. That's simple enough. Number 5, you place the mixture into the ice cream maker and you rotate it for 20 minutes. Okay, so that is clear enough as well, that after you've placed the mixture in the ice cream maker, when you rotate it, set your timer for 20 minutes. All our phones, they have that now. You just go to that clock application. There is alarm, there is stopwatch, then you go to timer, then you set for 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, the timer will go off. It will make a sound, then you'll know that the 20 minutes have passed. Then you'll know that, oh, after that 20 minutes, then okay, you should go to the next step. The next step will be to add milk slowly and transfer the mixture back to the pot. Remember, which milk are we adding here? Which milk are we adding here? So in number 6, it is the milk that which we are preparing in step 1 and 2. Okay, so that milk in step 1 and 2 is the same milk that which we add in step 6. Okay, so you add that milk slowly and you transfer the mixture back to the pot. Okay, all right. So after that, step 7, heat gently until the mixture thickens. Okay, so you're gonna heat it gently until the mixture thickens. Okay, so the mixture should be thick. So you're going to heat until the mixture becomes thick. After the mixture is thick, what do? You remove from heat and then you allow it to cool. Okay, then after it has cooled down, we go to step 8. Step 8, you place it in the freezer until it is set. Okay, so here we do not say for how long. Okay, the reason why is because you do not know. Okay, but for how long it takes, sometimes, okay, maybe for my one friend it may take 10 minutes, for my other friend it may take them 15 minutes, for me it may have taken me 5 minutes. So you do not know. So since because of those factors, that because you do not know, then you should place it in the freezer until it is set for how long that it takes. Okay, then you go to number 9. Scoop some ice cream into a serving bowl, garnish with a hint of greenery, and serve. Okay, so now the ice cream is ready. Then now we can eat our ice cream. Okay, so can someone tell us why in all these things we did not name any brand? Okay, there is no brand that which there's no brand name that which we have said in our instructions. Can someone tell us why that was so? The thing is, you will realize that here there is nothing about a certain brand, okay, in the cream or the milk or what, okay. So can someone tell us why there's no certain brand? Okay, let's see. We have Hakim. Hakim says because it was homemade. Yes, Hakim, the ice cream was homemade. So the ice cream itself, it will not have a brand. Okay, yes. So my question, Hakim, is this: why didn't we say any brand name for the milk or the cream or the castor sugar or the vanilla essence? You know, yes. Why didn't we say any brand name of all these ingredients that we should use? I mean, you realize that in many you realize you will realize that in many recipe books they will tell you that, okay, use this what okay. Let me give this example. Okay, let us say maybe I was a cook and the name of my brand is Jiki Cooks. Okay, so if I was writing this for you, I was going to say, for step number 1, for example, I was going to say pour 300 mils of Jiki Cook milk. Okay, but you realize that in this one I didn't write any brand of any. I just said milk. Okay, I just said any milk. I didn't specify any brand. I didn't specify any brand of milk. I just said milk. Okay, so why do you think that is so? Okay, let's see. We have Asanda saying because there are many brands and people may not like them or they might be expensive. Wow, Asanda, that is a very good answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really do agree with you that, okay, people are saying I'm making them hungry. Anyways, the morning, you can have your breakfast in the next few minutes after the lesson ends. Okay, then you have Teza saying because you can use any brand. Yes, Teza, you are right. You can use any brand. And Kanga says you do not need a specific ingredient to make ice cream. Okay, so yes, I do agree with everything you have all said. So one thing is that you realize that with recipe books, if Jackie cooks, I had the recipe book. The thing is, I mean, I, I would really be marketing myself. I really be marketing my company by saying, use Jackie Cook's milk, use Jackie Cook's castor sugar, use Jackie Cook's cream, use Jackie Cook's eggs, yes. But then here you realize that the reason why we do not say the brand is you do not want to be biased, okay? Chances are I love brand number 1, okay? I love brand number 1, and maybe my friend loves brand number 2, my other friend loves brand number 3. Okay, so I will not really be forcing you to use brand number 1 because you don't like it. Chances are I love brand number 1 because it tastes good for me, but to my friend, brand number 1, maybe they're allergic to it. Maybe they are lactose intolerant to the milk brand number 1, that which I like. Okay, so you realize that here it really doesn't matter about the brand. Okay, because you as a person, if I was giving you these instructions, chances are that you will be using the brand of milk, the brand of eggs, castor sugar, that which you know and trust. And that is what's the most important thing. As long as you use the brand you love, or the brand you trust, or the brand that which you can afford, then you should be fine to make this. Okay, so that is also another reason why. Okay, yes, and another thing, LeBron James, that is a good point. LeBron says if they mention a specific brand, most people might not have that brand. That is true. There are some brands that which they are only exclusive to a certain place, okay, or only exclusive to a certain grocery store. I mean, you know about them, okay? You know about them. So yes, that is how an instruction text should look like. Okay, so you make sure that your punctuation marks should be there, use them correctly, your comma, your full stop, and everything. Your sentences should be clear. They should all also be logical. Okay, so remember, if you have any question, please remember to ask me. So and anyway, this is how transactional text look. Okay, you should remember that even if you can look at our instruction text, you realize that it has the correct format. Okay, remember when we started, we said that with this one we do not use paragraphs, but you have a choice where you can use we have a choice where you can decide whether you want to use numbering or bullets. So these are your choices. So that is why here I chose to use numbering. Yes. Number two, you organize your content, preferably using a mind map. That is what I did. Remember when we were starting. Here is our mind map when we were starting. For those who do not want to use a mind map, it's okay. You can simply use a list. Yes. Then remember your main ideas and your supporting ideas. Yes. Paragraph conventions, but in this one, remember, it is not paragraphs, it is sentences. Okay, so it is sentence conventions here. Here also logical progression of your sentences to ensure coherence. So you make sure that your sentences they are in logical order, they are coherent. Then 6, the use of conjunctions for cohesion. Let's see, are there any conjunctions here? Yes, there is a conjunction here. In step number 5, add place mixture into ice cream maker and rotate for 20 minutes. Okay, so you see that we make sure that our things are coherent and they are in order. And then make sure to use appropriate language conventions. Okay, so make sure that you do not use slang, use formal language. Okay, yes, do not use slang here. Okay, write everything as it is, write in full, so that everyone can understand what it is that which they are going to read from you. Okay, so yes, this is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, remember here, there is my email, jackie.moyeng@gmail.com. You can, so yes, there is my email there. You can email, you can email me, you can email me, you can, yes, you can email me there, yeah, there it is there. You can email me, and then we can really be able to help you out. Okay, so thank you so much. So yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's meet again tomorrow. Our assessment will be on Wednesday. So tomorrow I will be sending you a link of where to get the assessment, where to get the question paper, so to say, that we should become part of our assessment. So thank you so much. Tomorrow we're going to do another thing that we should be part of your assessment. We'll see what we're going to do tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember to stay home, to stay safe. Remember to stay home, to stay safe. From all of us here at STEM Digital School, we love you. Keep well, take care. Let us meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.